But gentlemen, let's move on to the next subject related to this entire situation. So last week in a deleted scene while we were in between segments, Melly brought up a point to me from one of the listeners regarding the conversations that we sometimes have where I tend to bring up Trump. Now I was at first like, damn, am I really like bugging this out in third, right?
Yes, you are.
At first, I was like, damn, all right, I'll play it back. But I had an entire week to really reflect on this entire ordeal. And the more that I think about it, the less that I think that I'm bugging, and the more that I think that the problem is that you guys think that I just bring him up randomly without any context to it. That's what I think is going on here. I'll give you an example, right?
Can you just repeat what you last said?
What do you mean?
You said you bring him up.
It has less to do with me bringing him up randomly and more to do with...
You do bring it up randomly, though. So my thing is... Okay. I feel like you use him as a crutch to your argument.
Oh.
That's what I feel like. And by that, I mean, like, let's say you're talking to someone and bringing up a thing, right?
Okay.
You're going, and then you obviously see that the other side is pointing stuff out. Uh-huh. So you go immediately to be like, this is what Trump did. And that's how I feel like the way you bring them up is like a crutch to try to make your point.
All right, so then I'll give you...
Instead of you stating the facts that you were going to lead off to, you see that...
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example where I could have brought him up, but I didn't. So in the episode where we talked about the martial law that went into effect in South Korea, you guys remember that episode?
Yeah.
At no point did I bring up Trump in an administration in any way, shape, or form. Did I?
I think you did. I think you even brought up Drake in that conversation.
Play it back. Somebody go back and play that episode. I'll add the clip. I'll see if I can find it.
The thing is, like I really, like, you could say whatever you want to say, but I feel like you just spamming that. Like, you just spamming that. Like, all the time. We talk about something, and then you just spam it. When you see that, you lose the conversation. And that's the only problem I have.
But again, so going back to the example I was just giving of the South Korea situation, gentlemen, do you guys know what's currently happening in South Korea since that entire ordeal went down regarding the martial law that went into effect by their president? Do you guys know what happened shortly after that? Mm-hmm. So recently this week, the president got arrested. Were you guys aware of this? In South Korea, yes. Mm-hmm. The president got arrested. Do you guys know what is currently happening right now in South Korea because of this?
It's a power vacuum.
It's not a power vacuum. No.
Not yet?
No. So the president has apparently decided to make the claim that the opposition party, see if this sounds familiar, is bringing in illegal immigrant votes from China. And that's why he lost the last election.
You got to recount.
Now here's how it gets a lot more interesting. So his base, because his base is right-wing leaning, right, has now gone to the streets and they're doing anti-protest against the protesters, where they're saying that they need to stop the steal, and they're flying MAGA flags and referencing Donald J. Trump. At no point did I bring any of that up. At no point. But the problem now becomes...
But I see it in your face, though. You wanted to.
I feel like you orchestrated this whole segment just so you could say that.
And the vein, I know you see the vein on the forehead, too. That's still about to pop.
He just holding it in this whole episode just to say that.
But now the question that I want to ask you, gentlemen, is it that you guys believe that I'm doing this out of like my own free will just to bring him up for the sake of bringing him up? Or is it that he is so dominant in the news that he falls into so many categories? Like, think about it. We just talked about TikTok. We couldn't talk about TikTok without talking about how he's about to handle it coming up.
The first one.
No, last what was it? Last
week.
Yeah, two weeks ago. He was talking about something. You brought him up.
Okay.
It was just like, what do you? Like, what's the correlation like? But I don't remember what it was.
All right. If you do remember the episode, let me know. I'll try to add a clip in order to add.
Like even the audience, like when like someone from the audience hit me up and it was like, oh yeah, I fuck with the episode. But he just like saw what you were saying and he just didn't like agree with that.
Okay. Now, I'll also bring up so there's a term for this idea that was coined by Trump himself. It's called Trump derangement syndrome. If you know, this is a term that he created himself.
Trump said I forgot the one thing he said, like, but Trump said he's saying a whole bunch of nut shit. Like,
but that's the thing that gets me. He says so many crazy things, and I think that people get lost in the sauce of all the things that he says. Where he says something really crazy, but then he says a bunch of funny shit that goes along with it. So it kind of overplays or overshadows all of the crazy shit he's saying. Like, that's me personally. That's how I feel. Like, for instance, when he tells you that I want to make Canada the 51st state, I want to buy Greenland, and I want to invade Panama and steal the Panama Canal back. That's not, if any other president, you would be like, yo, that nigga saying some crazy shit. But he says it's like, that's American, bro.
Nah, he do be saying that. He's like,
that's crazy.
This is America.
Now,
why do you think that is? Like, why do you think people, like, whatever he says, he has that cult fan base?
Now,
no other president has had that.
I have a running theory on this. So again, we're going back to the TikTok thing. Again, I explained how Congress wants to ban it because they know the amount of influence that these social media apps have on a population at this point. So, gentlemen, do you know what percentage of their population get their news directly from social media apps? At least 50% of the time, according to research. Do you know what percentage of the population that is?
84.
That's high.
63.
Still on the high side.
69.
54%.
About to say 53.
54% of adults say that they get at least some of their news from social media directly.
50?
So at least 54.
Whoa.
Now, I tested something. We can test this right now. What is the most negative news you guys heard this entire week regarding President Biden this week? What's the most negative news?
Nothing.
Yeah. No.
You heard nothing negative at all from his administration.
I mean, what?
It was just like this time.
He old as shit. He about to die.
No, I haven't heard anything negative. It's been pretty calm on his side. I guess
So,
it's a farewell.
This week?
This week.
Yeah.
It's a farewell.
Okay. You probably don't think it's negative because you don't have a negative emotion towards it. But I tested 3 different major news outlets on Instagram to try to see if I could confirm my theory. So I went to World Star Hip Hop, I went to Complex, and I went to World Latin Star. All 3 have a combined over 64 million followers.
But why would you go to those websites for news?
What do you mean? That's what the average
World
person
Star
is
Hip
going.
Hop.
World Latin Star is insane.
The reason why the reason why I picked these specifically is because of their large following. These are they put out news headlines.
That's like
they're major outlets.
He's going to World Star for news.
No.
You're not finding news. You're finding
Again,
well, go
I'm
ask the YN what the forecast is tomorrow. What are you doing? What the hell?
No, but listen, this is why I did it. If I'm asking you, or I'm telling you that the research shows that about 54% of adults that get their news off of social media, where am I going to find the most people to test?
CNN?
No.
CNN
They're not following CNN. CNN only has like 1 million something followers. They don't have the combined following of those 3 platforms. That's 64 plus million views.
I think
So
they
you
mean like
think-
Facebook and Instagram. I don't think they're like, nobody's going on World Star Hip Hop for news.
So you think your parents is going on World Star Hip Hop for their news? Is what you're
No, not my parents. Not my
One
parents.
of them is 54%. So either your mom or your dad gotta be.
So you think your uncle and your aunt is going on?
They probably mean by like IG, like you go on IG for you.
Yeah, like if I think about my mom, all right, boom, my mom be on Facebook and she sees some shit like that
Exactly.
on Facebook.
All right, so I'll give you the example. World Star Hip Hop alone has 42 million followers on
What?
on IG.
Exactly.
42 million followers.
IG?
That's 40 times more followers than CNN. That's a lot more followers. So their posts on
And your parents be on Instagram?
huh?
The parents be on Instagram?
My mom has Instagram. My dad, I
But do
don't
they be
think
on it though?
No.
They got it?
No.
Oh, entonces, ¿qué es lo que está comprando todos?
Pero, the problem is that you're trying to take away from what I'm saying overall.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So
Segue.
I tested all of those sites. All three of those ran the story about the amount of money that was being given to the wildfire funds. Did you guys see that? The $770 that was being given by the Biden administration?
An Xbox.
Wait, what?
To buy a PS5 with that money. What the hell are you gonna do with $700?
$770. Now, keep in mind that they didn't outline that this is quick relief funds, which means that it's being released as soon as possible. It's you apply and you pretty much get the money. They do this. This is a standard procedure that gets done across all of these natural wildfire disasters.
Yeah, and you gotta live in California?
You have to live in California and be in the area affected. But this is something that is standard across all of these FEMA type emergencies. But all three of them ran the same, pretty much the exact same headline regarding that $770. If you go into the comments of that, all of the comments are like, man, fuck Biden, this, that, and the third. We send all of this money to Ukraine. It's all negative. Not one person said, damn, he's actually trying to help the victims. Even though this is a standard procedure.
But you got to think about it like this, though. Like, you only commented, like, you really only commented if you got something negative to say, bro. Because if you feel like, if you look at it and be like, oh, that's cool, you just keep scrolling. But some nigga might get tired of it, and when they get angry, they gotta start writing something down.
You're more likely to comment if you're angry, but a good post that makes you feel good will also make you comment.
Bro, I've never seen one of your comments say, wow, this post made me feel good.
I can show you that right now. I can absolutely show you that right now.
It's always gonna be more negative though.
You get deactivated from Twitter from arguing.
There's Nazis on Twitter. What do you want me to do?
No, but
motherfuckers talking about, Hitler wasn't that bad. No, fuck you. Like, what the fuck? Like, what do you want me to do?
I think what AP is saying though is like negativity always is gonna run everything.
Absolutely.
Like say if you're an artist and you get all the hate and everybody is just hating on you, that's gonna help you more than all the positivity. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Now, I'll give you a different example. This is that you guys seen the Senate hearing confirmations for the next administration. Did you guys see this on in Congress while they were confirming like the next upcoming Trump administration? Like everybody's going to be in his cabinet?
Nah, we haven't heard it. Enlighten us.
So this trended on Twitter because you can search up like the trends that are on Twitter on different sites, right? Now on Twitter, the confirmation hearings peaked for about 8 hours, and they got about 900,000 tweets, right? Regarding Pete Hegseth. Now, if you guys don't know who Pete Hegseth is, he's a former Fox News anchor that is about to be now the head of the Department of Defense. So he's going to be in charge of, he's going to be pretty much second in command of the military. And they were confirming him into office. And something that they were talking about, discussing in that, was the fact that he had minimal military experience. I believe that his rank was like a 04 or something like that. The former outgoing guy is like a rank 10 or some shit like that. So like he doesn't actually have all of the military experience. So like they were grilling him about that. And apparently this guy's a raging alcoholic to the point where he's making the promise where he's not going to drink while on the job. He literally had to make this promise. He had to make this promise in order to get this role. And on top of that, he's apparently was beating his wife. But that's neither here nor there. He didn't say that he did it, but they pressed him about questioning him on that. Now, that trended on Twitter with 1 million plus tweets and shit like that for about 8 hours. Do you guys know what also happened on that same day? When all of these Senate confirmation hearings and all that were happening. Do you guys know what happened that day? And I promise you guys probably don't know anything about this story. This was a B story.
They don't know.
So, do you guys know that this week, the report that has been running for the last 3 years on if Trump was guilty regarding the January 6th insurrection was officially dropped?
What?
Insurrection.
Insurrection?
Yeah. Were you guys aware of this?
Nah. So the drop?
The report dropped because what's going to happen is, because the Department of Justice has a rule where they do not go after a sitting president, they are going to drop the case completely and just let it go. But lawyers from outside of the government actually pushed to have it released under the Freedom of Information Act. Now, only parts of the report were actually dropped. The second part, because those are still active investigations into his co-conspirators, are still ongoing. That part is still going to remain under wraps. But at least the charges against Trump are going to be officially dropped regarding that. Now, in the report, Jack Smith came to the conclusion that there was enough evidence to actually convict Trump of insurrection, to the point where he wouldn't even have been able to run for office. That report dropped, but nobody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about, oh, the drunk guy's about to go run the Department of Defense. That's the kind of shit that I'm talking about. The real news is covering real shit that's happening, but on social media, you're not getting that. You're not going to hear about that.
So do you think it's this, they're making it like that so you don't see it? Social media is blocking that?
Specifically, yes. Those bigger platforms, like from what I've seen, they're always pro-Trump, because they know that their users are normally going to be in that base. So that's something that I've noticed. That is something that I've noticed.
All right, don't companies gain more money with Trump too, or have gained more money with Trump? So
now,
it would help Trump.
I'm gonna close out this segment like this. In Biden's farewell speech, he gave a very dark warning. He said that right now there is a amount of oligarchs. If you guys don't know what the term means, it just means like really rich people that are about to start running the government real soon, that are pretty much making a collective power. I didn't mention this in the other section where we were talking about this TikTok CEO being invited to the inauguration. The CEO of Meta, Apple, Google, and a couple other companies are actually going to be special guests at the inauguration. And it's to the point where President Obama, President Bush, and President Clinton, the last three living previous presidents, are not going to attend the inauguration. This has never happened in U.S. history.
Whoa.
So
the social media CEOs are
all gonna show up at the inauguration in place for the previous presidents. This has never happened.
Who made that happen?
What do you mean who made that happen? This is Trump's inauguration. What do you think pulled the strings on that?
So Trump wants that to happen?
They all paid, again, we talked about this in the other episode. They all paid $1 million+ to be there already. That's just the entrance at the door to get in.
Oh. Wait, did the presidents never had to pay to get in?
Bro, you're the previous president. You pretty much live in the city. like that is insane. So they're not attending this event.
Who's the CEO of Meta? Is that
Mark Zuckerberg?
Okay.
Yeah. So none of the previous presidents or administrations are about to attend. I believe Biden's the only administration that will attend, but that's because they've been working to just do the actual transition of power, because they don't want to deal with the legal ramifications of going, I don't think we should put this guy in office. They're just going to let it play.
We really going to go into like this is like the start of just a whole nother future.
Yeah,
this is crazy.
This is going to be the start of a very weird 4-year period in the U.S. because we've never had anything like this. Did you guys see that Trump put out a meme coin? Now, the problem with this is that in his white papers, it shows that he owns 80% of the entire supply of the coin. So anybody that invested into this coin, if at any point in time he wants to pull the rug on it, you're just fucked. You're just fucked. That should be illegal, but because there's not that many wells around, crypto and shit like that, they're just gonna let it play. But again, that's why I personally bring him up. It's because he's involved in so many things that you guys probably just aren't aware of.
Wait, he just conned us into talk about Trump for 20 minutes. Let's wrap this episode up.
No! All right, McDassin. All right.
Closing statements.
I'm innocent. Fuck Trump.
Nothing to say?
Shit to say, just...
It's a long one this week.
Wait, what?
Brian had a lot to say this week.
It was a lot of covers, a lot to cover.
Yeah, we did have a lot to cover. I hope y'all enjoy this episode. Comment what y'all like, what y'all disagree on. Give us what y'all think about this episode. What could we improve on? Like, comment, subscribe.
How do you guys like the longer format videos too? The last 2 episodes we went over our regular hour 20. Let's see how these longer format videos where we like get to actually like talk our ideas out. How do you guys like these? Do you want it compressed or you want it longer? Pause.
and we did get like, let us know how y'all like the new mics too. We got like
mic upgrades.
Yeah.
we all got separate mics, so it should sound much better.
Much better on the quality. All right, but you guys, if you guys like the episode, remember to hit like, comment, subscribe, share it with all of your friends. If you guys want all of our social medias, you can go on to High Notes Podcast on our link tree. That's linktr.ee/high Notes with an S podcast. You can get all of our socials, all of our platforms that we're on, and follow us on there as well. But we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.